early for the breakout today, and I'm just gonna finish my lecture. So if you're interested, you could watch it. So the question was what happened, and a good 60% of people say that the bone had failed, and I agree with that. I think that's exactly the reason why this had happened, and so the bone completely failed, and the reason for that is actually interesting, and we found out in this recently published paper that you can see on this video that when we put the force on the rabbit bone, it just shattered. Okay, it's a very thin cortex and a very brittle material compared to other animals' bone. We found that in old school thinking, when we try to apply orthopedic principles in these animals, we say that the screw hole that we created should not decrease the overall bone strength by over than 50%. And in the other studies on other animals, we have concluded that you don't want it to be over 33% of the diameter of the bone. However, in rabbits, we're talking about only 15%, which goes to an interesting concept because if you look at these three different implants, most of you would probably agree for a rabbit bone this size and an implant that's this size would probably fit the best for this rabbit bone. However, the screw holes on it is about 27% of what the diameter is. So in order for a rabbit bone to not fail drastically, we have to use a screw size this. So the plate, you can see it's too small for the size of the bone and even for the weight of the rabbit. So in an ideal world, we want to actually have a plate that's much bigger than this one. Maybe that's bigger like that. So size like this one, but with holes so small that will fit screws like this one in the ideal world. And we're working on that for now. The other concept is about different screw failures. So traditional screw failures, as you can see here, the screw just get pulled out one at a time. Okay, so it's less likely for you to create a big effect on the overall cortex itself because it just kind of come out from the holes that we drill along here. The screw just back out. When we use locking plates instead of having it fail from each individual screw, so it just pull it out that way, a locking plate, when it's trying to fail, it will actually take up a large chunk of the bone here. Okay, a lot of times this is especially detrimental when the cortex is so thin. You will, when it fails, you will actually just crack the whole bone out, and that makes that rabbit bone even more susceptible to this kind of catastrophic failure. So two factors. One, we have a screw size that's slightly too big for a rabbit. And the other factor is that locking screws make a horrible failure if it does happens, you know, and that happens in rabbits. So our plan for this rabbit is actually, we could remove all the implants and reoperate, or we would amputation, or we could remove the pin or see if time can heal the fracture. And in this one, we actually end up amputating this rabbit. So take home point, remember this video, knowing that rabbit bone will fail in a very horrible way. And rabbits, when we treat them, they're not small cats. They're prey animals. They have very small bone mass. And however, when we make decisions, general principles apply. But just remember the brittle cortex will lead to horrible bone failure. And Just the same as any other small mammals, they have limited soft tissue coverage, so neurological trauma and circulation are the things that we need to think about. Um, and that would be the two cases that we're going to discuss. And please email me if you have any questions. And you can probably find me, but my email is pcho@ucdavis.edu. Thank you.